practice owners. Jerry's coming up. I know Jerry met him in person. He is represents really the uniqueness of how people can do dentistry. You're going to love hearing from him. But we're going to ask him why he wants to hire an associate, where you can start looking, what to ask during the interview process, and pregame systems for success with your team. So think about this. If you're looking to hire an associate, just don't do it in a reactive way, because one day you feel too busy. You got to make sure there's enough production. You got to make sure you can pay them properly. So I'm ready, Jerry. You can start your camera again here. And we're going to switch kind of to our practice owner segment here. Do we need to do anything for Jerry to start his camera? Perfect. So Jerry, tell us, thanks so much for getting up early. I know you're a dad like me. So tell us, where are you here on Earth? Tell us a little bit about your dental journey and why you're looking for an associate.
Yeah, I'm in Pismo Beach, California. It's I tell people it's one of the last few Cal Americana remaining. And yeah, I'm looking for an associate because I am at that stage in my career where I really need someone else to help me with the dentisting aspect of the practice. There are just too many patients to be seen, and I can't see them all.
Sometimes you need to pass it, right? You don't have to take all the shots yourself. Now, I've followed your story from the beginning. We met in person a few years ago. I see you're expanding. How many practices you have now, and how many dentists are on your basketball team at the current time?
So there are 7 associates, and there are really 2 group practice locations. One is sort of a GP implant surgery focused, and the other, due to the legacy of where it's coming from, is a full arch veneers type of based practice. And yeah, and you know, it's funny that you threw up that screen about, you know, why I'm looking for an associate, and perhaps the you know, when I started the associate journey, it was, oh, I need an associate, but now I'm at a stage where I realize, oh, I need the right associate.
Right.
And it's not just about throwing, you know, anyone onto the court, but rather the right fit.
I mean, that's such a good point, because you put a basketball player out there who's a center from the 1980s. They can't shoot threes. You might need a 3-point shooter. So I really like this topic. Jerry, tell us what makes someone the right fit for you. What I want to share before you start is the right fit for Dr. Jerry Yu might be different than Dr. Paul Goodman, without judgment, but is important if you're going to play on Jerry's team. So tell us, what are some of the characteristics, Jerry, of the right fit for an associate for you, whether that's personality-wise and also dentisting skills. Do they need to do extractions and bone grafting? Do they need to do implants or restorative? Tell us a little bit about that.
You know, I think the right fit is they have to have the right internal pace.
Gotcha.
And what I mean by internal pace is that the staff tend to have a certain pace that they like to work in and operate in. And I've had associates who couldn't match that pace. And it didn't mean that they were a bad dentist, but they just couldn't operate in that pace. And it doesn't necessarily mean fast or slow. It just has to match with the rest of the team. So if they're out of sync, then that's a source of frustration for the support staff. And if the dentist is a source of frustration for the support staff, then over time that resentment builds and they want to help them less and less, and it ends up not being a good fit.
What I want to share, I've only had a few jobs in life, but one was restaurant server, and what you share is exactly like restaurant server. We have Ariel and Amanda and Jill were restaurant servers. I've been at local, truck stops. I've been at fine dining. I trained people, and I knew when they walked in, this isn't for them. Sometimes fine dining is too slow, and they're more of a chain place. So tell me, this is a great share for our community. Would someone be able to come in and observe you and observe the office before they took the job? Or how do you find out about paces, whether it's your office or another? Would you recommend observing, coming, hang out and shadow? How do you find that out?
Oh, I totally recommend coming to visit the practice and seeing it in operation.
Right.
And I think, a tenet of there are certain things that the owner should do to make the associate successful as possible.
Yeah.
And to do so, transparency and openness is very much, I think, a gold standard. And I would love it if people who are interested in it to come and check it out and just meet me for a beer.
Yeah.
And you talk to me and then see how we work.
I think you and I have a lot of similar things, and I know we also definitely have some different things. But one of the things I think we're open-minded about is I will look at multiple dental practices to buy, even if I don't think they're a good fit, because I always learn something, right? For me to go and meet an owner at his practice and see what happens, it's great. I learned something. So people get to learn when they come and visit you. Tell me a little bit first, Jerry. How can people are watching now? How can they reach out to you if they want to do this? We're sharing in the chat, the text codes, but what's the best website for them to check out to see this practice, and also how to connect with you directly?
Yeah, so I feel a little bit behind the times. I don't do Instagram or any of the stories or whatnot, and it's not a
You
I
can
don't
hire
want to
Yalda.
share.
You can start training people.
Right. So I just want them to email me or call me, and I'll chat with you. And if you are interested enough to come and check it out, I'm happy to host you. And
You do have
we'll
something
share.
going for you. I've noticed being on the East Coast in Philadelphia, we have so many graduate schools, and people run over here and eat our good food, and they love the city, but then they run right back to California. So you do have the California thing. What is your best email for them to email?
It's hayu82@gmail.com.
Awesome. We'll put that in there. I would recommend, we're on this, is that even if you don't do Instagram, there's probably some value to having some presence there, because the Yalda generation is where they find out about positions. So even if you don't have the desire to do it personally, we have a practice Instagram account, which at least just helps share. We're looking for this, we're doing this, sharing our stories. So awesome, Jerry. Anything else you want to add about your position before you jump off?
No, I think if I want to build upon Dr. Yalda's point, mentorship is probably supremely important in this gig. And, there is a severe lack of mentorship for young dentists these days. And because there's a lack of mentorship and how critical mentorship is needed to the development of that dentist career, then they enter through it, and then 10, 15 years later, they sort of become jaded. And then that in turn leads to sort of more failed associateships. And then that leaves sort of owners, jaded dealing with associates. And it's sort of a two-way street. There has to be give and a little bit of flexibility in both ways. But in the same way that I think a lot of owners, because I know other owner dentists who, kind of the common gripe is that, oh, it's hard to find good help. But then the converse is that, well, have we done enough to foster and develop the talent that will turn into good help?
That's so important. And Yalda offered to share your office and story. So screenshot us, and our team will tell you the text code. So we'll show you the power of Instagram, Jerry, that maybe a screenshot of 2 medium-aged dentists and dads shared on Yalda's story, and give a text code. Our Nacho team can tell Yalda to see what it is. But I really want to share with you, Jerry, I appreciate a lot of things about you, but one, just managing multiple offices and multiple dentists is just awesome, because dentists should bond together more. And like what Yalda talked about and what you're talking about, the dentists on your team, they can talk to each other, right? And talk doesn't have to be face-to-face. They can text with each other, but they feel like they're part of a group that has their back. And I just want more of this in our dental space. I'm not anti-DSO. I work with DSOs. I'm not anti-solo GPs. I work with solo GPs, but I have a model like yours: multiple locations, multiple dentists, sharing, caring. It can get messy, like sharing nachos, but in the end, you get to be part of something cool. So I just want to say I really, really admire that about you.
Yeah, well, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. We're going to show you the power of Instagram. Awesome, guys. We're going to wrap up here in a couple minutes. Thanks, Jerry. Enjoy your day out there. Thanks for jumping on with us early.